Welcome to Discover Indie Film. I'm Jeff Howard, and I have Jesseca Ynez Simmons on Zoom. Hey, Jessica.
Hello.
And we are on Zoom, and now I can make it part of the introduction. We are hours and hours apart within California, which is why we're on Zoom. And I probably forgot to do this on the previous podcast, but if you have a problem with audio, if we don't sound that great or if we talk over each other, I swear we're not interrupting each other. Sometimes there's a micro delay when you record Zoom. So, because we have a delay, but then the recording doesn't. So, anyway, that's my half-ass excuse for the Zoom recording, but heck, it's so wonderful to be able to talk to people and interview them from a distance. So, I'm happy to use Zoom, and I'm grateful to the Zoom Corporation. Although their discount for nonprofits could be better. Should I not say that?
No. Yeah, I think you can.
I'm going to tell you something after we're done. So anyway, Jessica is here because we just had a wonderful talk about your work, and particularly your film Heaven in a Wildflower, which was at the Sherman Film Festival last year in 2024. It showed up and it won you the Filmmakers Award for Outstanding Cinematography, which well-deserved. It's microscopic cinematography, which is extra cool. But people should listen to the podcast before this one and learn all about Jessica and how you got involved in filmmaking and documentary and all sorts of things, particularly your interest in microscopic filmmaking. And oh wait, I'm going to mess up your term. Micro fantasy?
Oh, docu-fantasy.
Docu-fantasy. See, I was stuck on the word micro.
It's in there, though. It's an umbrella term. Microscopic documentaries in there.
Yeah, excellent. Well, so listen to that. This episode, and there will be links in the show notes of this podcast to check out all of Jessica's work, so please do that. This episode is a 4 questions episode, as I call it, which means Jessica will be answering name 3 favorite films, just 3 films that you love. No pressure on the name the best 3 you've ever seen thing. Like, anyway, because that's a lousy question. If it's like, what are your 3 favorites of all time? It's like, just 3 things that you truly love. Then a film that's underrated, a film that's overrated, and a lesser known film for people to seek out. In fact, I'm just going to share with Jessica, I don't care what you people think. No, it's, this was all inspired by a friend of mine who is a professional drummer who always would go on Facebook back in the day and argue with people who the most overrated and underrated drummers in the world were. And I thought, I'm going to do what James does, but with film. So there you go. And Jessica is a recreational drummer. She's got a drum kit behind her in her room. So anyhow,
connection.
Do you want to jump right in and name 3 of your favorite films?
Yeah, totally. Okay, so I just go.
Yeah, just go. Just okay. Have fun with it.
Well, my favorite all-time film of all time is Return to Oz. It's Walter Murch's only directional or film that he made that he directed. Very famous editor. And I saw it when I was really young, and it's kind of scary. And so it was like my first introduction to I love scary things, but it's a little bit more faithful to some of the books, the Oz books. But anyway, Return to Oz is my probably my all-time favorite film of all time.
Oh, very cool. Do you have 2 more you want to name?
Yes. So second.
By the way, I should admit I haven't seen it, or if I saw it, it was 40 years ago.
I think it came out in the 80s. Fairuza Balk is in it when she's a young lady.
I do remember when Fairuza Balk was Dorothy.
Yes, yeah. And so I could have named it for a film that maybe people don't know about as much, because I don't think a lot of people have seen it. But it's just so near and dear to my heart. Anyway, so the next film I'm going to choose is Fiddler on the Roof. It just makes me so happy. The music is amazing. The story is amazing. I could listen to the soundtrack on repeat. And, it does have some, it does, I don't want to spoil it. It's not a purely happy film or musical or Broadway show, but but it is definitely something that has deeply impacted me.
Act two is rough. All right.
Uh, Anna
Uh,
Tefka.
uh,
But yeah, okay. So third is this one was kind of hard. There was two films battling it out, but I ultimately have to go with Kirsten Johnson's Camera Person. She's a famous cinematographer, and she made her own autobiography based on the film footage that she has captured. So there's no interviews, there's, no didactic retelling of her experiences. You have to rely on her as a cinematographer to relay that emotional knowledge to you. And I think it's one of the most brilliant, most beautiful films. Yeah,
I
ever.
see a connection in that approach to your work.
It was very impactful for me. Absolutely.
Absolutely. You want to name the fourth?
Oh, yes. The fourth is The Act of Killing by Joshua Oppenheimer. And it's again, it kind of plays with reenactment, with historical memory, with who gets to tell the story, like who writes the history, the victors, or and so anyway, but I ultimately landed on Camera Person because of how it's personally just really, I don't know, there's something about it that I think is a little bit more magical, but The Act of Killing is extremely, I just think it's brilliant. And I also really love hybridity and I think it was a really daring and a really risky film to make and very controversial. A lot of people don't like it and think it was ethically not, not the right move to make. But I could literally talk about that film for hours. So, but anyway, that was the honorable mention.
Very cool. Absolutely. All right. Well, question number 2 is a film you feel is underrated.
Okay, so bear with me. I think The Human Centipede is very underrated. I love that movie, and I think a lot of people dismiss it as being just gross, being nasty, and it is those things. It for sure is those things. But I think that because it is so intensely gross, people kind of just like write it off right away. But I think it has incredible artistic merit. I love how seriously they took the subject matter and like the main character. And it's one of the only movie reviews like I can like recall offhand, but I love what Roger Ebert said about it is that he also admired the seriousness of the main actor. But and it has all these like wonderful themes of like, autonomy, freedom, just servitude. I mean, there's a lot of things going on with it. But Roger Ebert said that he refused to give it a rating because it exists in a world where stars don't shine. And I just thought that was beautiful.
Wow. All right. I'm going to ask you a selfish personal question, which is, should I watch this? Well, nearly every weekend, the 17-year-old and I have to pick a horror movie to watch. And I've never seen Human Centipede because the general consensus of it was negative or exploitative or whatever. So
yes,
would she despise watching that film next to me anyway? Like with her parents on the couch, like she's going to college this fall, and we're struggling to find horror movies to watch together because we watched so many over the years.
I don't know. So my first gut reaction is that it really just depends on like what you guys have seen together before because it is graphic in everything you imagine what goes into like it being connected ass to mouth. You are going to see and experience a lot of these things. And so I feel like if that's the like threshold of things you've seen together in the past, then perhaps, but it is pretty intense. And so I think it really,
but it's just, but it's corporeal in nature, right? It's not the only horror movies we've ever stopped were like too sexual. She's not going to watch something that's too sexual with
oh yeah,
parents. Like we had to stop Gerald's Game because it was like, whoa, no.
I like that one.
I'm sure she watched it without us sometime, but.
It's not maybe I haven't seen it in a while, so I don't really remember anything being explicitly sexual, but just by virtue of the concept, it kind of threads like those
Well, you know
maybe
what? Tomorrow
bodily
I might
ones.
float it. I might float it as a possibility and challenge them to like, let's watch it and let's take it seriously.
I mean, I think it's really worthwhile if you can. And I think that I don't know. I have like full disclosure though, I put it on during a date once, and he left. So like it was like, it was it was a very long time ago. But so it does have a polarizing reaction. And I was like, well, whatever. And I don't think my significant other now could handle it. But I remember like I've lost dates didn't go well because of this movie. So I'm just gonna put it out.
Definitely not for everyone. But by the way, I love that that's your overrated, underrated because no one's ever made that they're underrated before. I love it. All right. Well, that leads us right to the next question, which is a film you feel is overrated.
Okay. And also no shade. I do accept this as like a genuinely good movie, but I gotta say, I was really disappointed with how overhyped Longlegs was last year. I think it was last year. Um, I remember just kind of being really disappointed. I don't know if it did anything too mind blowing, and I think a lot of people got really wrapped up in Nicolas Cage's like transformation to become the antagonist, which I think was really cool. But I don't think it was worthy of all the hype. And I think actually the marketing campaign that they did was kind of more interesting than a lot of like some of the movie elements itself. So, for instance, as a marketing tactic for one of their trailers, they released the like raw audio of the actress seeing Nicolas Cage's character for the first time, and you could hear her heartbeat. And so I think that just raised expectations to like a kind of gnarly level that for me personally were not met. It was great, but I think if another person and not Nicolas Cage played that main character, I wonder if it would have been so hyped up. And so again, I thought it was a good movie, but it was like,
What's funny is not too long ago, a filmmaker who is an alumni, so it was not his first time on this podcast, named it as overrated. And he said, best trailer ever made, but the film wasn't as good as the trailer. So then we watched it. I was like, you know what? This has piqued my curiosity. Let's watch it. And the three of us just loved it because we came into it with me saying, okay, so I've heard the trailer is way better than the film. And you know what's hilarious is we might be the only people on earth who watch the film and then watch the trailer afterwards.
oh yeah.
And
Well, hey,
love the
maybe that
film, and
helps.
we're a little unimpressed with the trailer at that point because the trailer doesn't match the film perfectly. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah,
It's the
it really
expectations
is.
game. The expectations game is huge with cinema.
It is. Yeah, and I mean, and I love Nick Cage, but like I don't think I'm like a diehard fan. And I think maybe there was something there to that. Like I thought the transformation was cool, but I was like, I wasn't, it could have just been anybody to me. But maybe, yeah,
It
this
was
is
it
just
was I he's a loaded gun of opinions because it's really hard to tell when he's being a parody of himself or not,
yeah.
because he's really pushed the envelope of doing the whatever the Brando Pacino-esque thing of like, are they acting anymore, or are they just doing this character that they've developed? Yeah.
Mhm.
it's
Yeah,
it,
no, I think he's incredible. Yeah. He is a national treasure after all.
Nice pun. All right, or whatever, nice reference. All right, we've just got one more, which you already covered in spades, but a lesser known film that people should seek out.
Yeah, so I landed on Having the Bones, like having like cutting in half, Having the Bones by Ruth Ozeki. And it's another documentary that plays with the format. I think it came out in the 90s. And I think the only place you can watch it is on her Vimeo page, maybe. I'm not sure. But I think it's really beautiful. It talks a lot. It's a lot about identity and family and historical memory within one's own family. And basically the premise is I think she inherits some bones from, oh gosh, I can't remember. I think it's her grandmother. I haven't seen it in quite a few years, but it's for me still very impactful. And she's trying to figure out what to do with these bones. And I just really love the format of the film. It's also really tender. And I think if you're interested in like, you know, historical memory of like your own family and also like your heritage, and like she's also, I think, you know, she has different heritages. Sorry, excuse me. Like she moved to the States, and so she's like battling with that kind of like inner identity. And I think it's just really beautifully done. And I wish this filmmaker would have made a lot more films. I think they are more of like a scholar. But it's really beautiful. It's really tender, and it plays with the format in a really beautiful way.
Very cool. Excellent. Well, that brief silence was me muting my mic so I could get out a cough. All right, so wonderful list. And boy, I want to watch a lot of these. How funny. Form challenging documentaries plus Human Centipede are now on my watch list.
I mean, I think the Human Centipede like pushed a lot of boundaries, and you know, like it's not like I'm trying to watch it. I haven't seen it in years. Like I'm not trying to watch it like, you know, recreationally. It's a heavy film to watch, but I don't know. I kind of am of the mindset that even like the worst film, like, you know, if it's not over, you know, like blatantly exploitative, you know, which, you know, you can also argue that there's some elements of that in the Human Centipede, but it's so hard to make a movie that I'm always trying to take it seriously and find something to love, because the fact that it exists is a miracle.
I agree with you. And sometimes I see a film and I'm like, I'm not sure. I don't think I liked it, but I really love that they managed to get it made. Like if it's really just original and different and breaking rules. And I'm like, honestly, that was my attitude towards Barbie. I didn't really enjoy the Barbie movie that much personally, but I can't believe they managed to get that made through the massive corporations that make billions on a doll allowed their doll to be used in this way. Like I was impressed. I was really impressed that film got made.
Totally. Yeah. I totally agree. And yeah, I wouldn't say I love the Human Centipede, but I think people are just really fast to dismiss it. And if you haven't seen it, like that's fair. But you know, if you have seen it and you dismissed it, I don't know. I'm just like, come on, give her a chance.
Give it a chance. Excellent. All right. Well, I will wrap us up by first. I'm going to thank you, Jesseca.
Thank you.
Thank you both for being a person who has devoted themselves to the arts. I think that means a lot. Honestly, we're in the 10th anniversary of our film festivals this year, and I'm a little amazed and touched by all the people who keep making films at the indie level because they have to, because it matters, because the human being is a storytelling machine. I mean, we use storytelling to our very existence is nearly a story. So I appreciate you and all your peers who are making our film festivals exist just by your drive to create. So thank you so much. And now everyone listening, check out the show notes. There will be clickable links to Jesseca's work, and you should definitely check it out because it is unique and interesting and wonderful. So check those out. And then regarding this podcast, and thank you for listening to the podcast, like, subscribe, write a review, do that stuff. That's actually a kindness. And believe it or not, kindness benefits the person being kind, maybe even more than the person receiving kindness. Because, that's my soapbox in life, is that we could all be a little kinder to each other. And I'm exceedingly, I get more out of being kind than I get from receiving it. So anyway, all right, so that's me asking for reviews and then trying to get philosophical about it, but write reviews. If you want to learn more about the podcast, go to discoveryindiefilm.com. On social media, it's always at DIFWins. If you go to discoveryindiefilm.org, that is the nonprofit, which is our foundation that runs 2 film festivals, including one that has shown Jesseca's work. So go to that .org site and learn more about that. But the festival that showed Jesseca's film Heaven and a Wildflower last year is the Sherman Oaks Film Festival. So just go to ShermanOaksFF.com to learn more, or at ShermanOaksFF on social media. This year's the 10th anniversary, and we got some fun surprises involved, although they're less surprising because we did all these 10th anniversary things for its sister festival, Film Invasion Los Angeles, which we held the 10th edition in June. If you want to learn about that festival, go to filminvasionla.com, and it's at filminvasionla on social media. I call them sister festivals. Next year, they get a cousin in Peru, January 2026. We're going to launch Film Invasion Lima. And by the way, I don't name a website for that because we're trying to do it very efficiently. So now when you go to filminvasionla.com, there's a pull-down menu for LA and a pull-down menu for Lima. And I'm actually talking to some people about other cities. I mean, there's always been, man, London almost happened. A Bay Area one almost happened. Vancouver almost happened. But Lima is happening, which is kind of fun because I'm glad it's like South America instead of just like another city. In, not that there's anything wrong with expanding within the U.S., but it's kind of fun. All right. Jessica, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to talk to me. And,
of course. Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for listening.